Hello. First off, let me begin by telling you that this story is 100% true. It is also the first in a series of real events that have happened to me throughout my lifetime. I will also eventually be telling stories from my friends and family members. Welcome to the dwelling of the Ross Banshee. I don't remember these events perfectly, because I was very young at the time, so please forgive me if some of this story doesn't seem to make much sense. I was maybe 2 or 3 years old when I saw a package of plastic bugs at Walmart that I decided I wanted. My grandma gave in and bought the cheap toy for me, but told me that I had to wait until we got home to open them. Now, sometime between Walmart and home, I had done something to get in trouble, and so the plastic bugs got put up on the counter out of my reach. By the time bedtime came around, I was still in trouble and hadn't been allowed to play with my plastic bugs at all. I went to bed pouting and cranky. However, I was one of those kids who had a very difficult time falling asleep. Thus, after my grandparents were both asleep, I snuck out of bed and into the kitchen, where I proceeded to haul my stool up to the counter, where I knew my bugs were. I triumphantly seized my prize and sat on the floor in the middle of the kitchen. I used all of my might to tear the package open, scattering the plastic bugs all over the place in the process. I started picking them up as quickly as possible, afraid that my grandma might have heard the commotion and would be coming in to bust me at any moment. I saw something out of the corner of my eye, and turned to see one of the plastic bugs come to life and crawl away into a crevice. I rubbed my eyes, sure that it was a trick or my imagination. I was tired or dreaming. That had to be the answer. Then I felt something move in my hand. My little heart was pounding as I fearfully uncurled my fingers. The plastic bugs that I had picked up had also come to life and were wiggling their too many legs about. I flung my hands up in the air with a scream and clambered back up onto my stool as quickly as I could. At that point, I knew my grandma was coming. I wanted her to. I needed for her to come and save me. I watched the rest of the plastic bugs come to life and scurry away out of sight. She came in and scooped me up in her arms, comforting me. She told me that I was sleepwalking and put me back to bed. I finally fell into a restless sleep. The next morning, I woke up and thought that I had had the worst dream ever. My day went on as usual, watching TV and helping my grandma with whatever she asked of me, which wasn't much given my age. Eventually, night fell and it was bedtime. As my grandma was reading a bedtime story to me, I heard a noise from the wall behind me. I turned around to see a bug on the wall. My grandma grabbed a tissue to squish it, but before she turned back around, a swarm of bugs came crawling up the wall from behind the bed. I screamed and began crying, confessing to my grandma that I had opened the bugs and they came to life. Without any kind of reprimand, she called my grandpa in to help get rid of the bugs. I am not ashamed in the least to say that my grandma slept in my room with me that night. I was terrified. Needless to say, I had learned a valuable lesson also. Now, some of you may not believe this is a true story. Many of those some will probably even call this a creepypasta. I assure you, it is not. It really did happen to me, though there is no way I can convince those who don't believe. I have only this to say in parting. There are many unexplained things throughout history and documented evidence of paranormal happenings. This is only the beginning.